So normally when we have Mother's Day or Father's Day or a special holiday like that, we'll make a project with you at school that you can use as a gift to give to your parents. But since we're not at school, Miss Sam asked if I would do a little video showing you how to make a really special Mother's Day gift with things that you probably already have at your house, so you can give it to your mom for Mother's Day. So let's get started. First thing you need to make sure that you do is put on a shirt that you don't mind if you get paint on it. I've had this one a long time, plus it's tie-dye, so you can't really see. So that's why I'm wearing this. But if you have a smock or an apron or something, that's a really good idea because we're using acrylic paint for this and it stains. So make sure that you're wearing something that you don't mind if you get paint on. The next thing that you need to go find is in your Mother's Day craft bags, I sent home little contact paper hearts. So make sure that you have this because this is an important piece that we need to start. Next thing, go find a nice clean glass jar. This is actually a pickle jar and you don't need the lid for this, but you can find something that had pizza sauce in it or a mason jar, whatever you have laying around. Just make sure that you clean it really good, wash it really good before you use it, and make sure that you take off any labels and rub off any sticky residue that you had on there, okay? So next thing you need is a cup of water to rinse your paintbrush and a nice paintbrush. For this step, we're only using one color and we have to cover the whole thing. So I used a bigger one, but whatever you have is fine. Next thing you need is white acrylic paint. This part is very important and you just need white for this, no other colors because we're going to use those later on. So just for this step, you just need white. The next thing you need is a palette or something to put your paint in. Paper plate works great and it's less cleanup, so I would definitely recommend that. I just happen to be using this one. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is take your nice glass jar and grab your contact paper heart that I had in there and peel off the paper. And then we're gonna put this down in the middle. It can be wherever you want. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered because remember, you're making this and your mom's gonna love it just because you made it. So you're gonna put the heart down. It's okay if it wraps around the bottom. And then press it down. Make sure there's no bubbles, no lines or anything because it needs to be flat. Good job. All right, next step. So you're gonna take your glass jar, and I already kind of started this one. You're gonna dip your paintbrush in your paint and you're gonna paint the whole surface area. It doesn't matter which direction you do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to make sure that you cover the whole jar. So this part that's clear is just the heart. If you want to even paint over that, you can. We're gonna peel this off at the end. So it's better to do more around the heart than less because you wanna make sure that you're covering it and there's no open spots. So that is step one. Okay, so now it's time for step 2 of our Mother's Day vase project. So we painted this white and we let it dry overnight. Make sure that it's completely dry before you start painting. That's very important so you don't get any color mixing that you don't want. The other thing that we need is a cup of water like last time, some paint brushes. I just grabbed a few different random sizes, so whatever you have is great. Something to put your paint in. I have a palette, but a paper plate is good too, and like I said, less cleanup. Some different colors of acrylic paint. I picked some green because my mom really likes green, that's her favorite color, and I like pink and purple, so I just grabbed a few random ones. I think sometimes the more colors the better. Also, if you don't have a lot of different colors, remember that some colors you can mix together to make a whole new color. So you could do red and blue, that makes purple, blue and yellow, that makes green, so that's a good idea too. So don't worry if you don't have a variety of colors. The other thing that I would suggest having is a roll of paper towels. If we don't have any of those, an old kitchen towel or rag works great too. So let's get started. So we're just gonna paint this in any kind of pattern that you want. I'm gonna start with some green right here. Do a little bit of green. And then just keep going until the whole thing's covered. Okay, so I finished painting it and it's still wet. You can see I just did a bunch of different blocks of color all the way around. now I'm not gonna touch it and let it sit for at least 24 hours so it's completely dry. Okay, so now it's time for our last step for our Mother's Day vase project. So first you're gonna take your vase, hopefully it's completely dry. I've had mine drying for over 24 hours. So that's the first thing that you need. You wanna make sure that it's not sticky or tacky or wet because that can mess up the finished product. Next thing that you need is a little plastic cup, or I didn't have one, so I cut a water bottle in half and put a little bit of water in that because we're gonna put that inside our vase for our flowers. It's really important to do this because if you just put straight water in there, you're gonna mess up the picture because we're putting a picture on the inside. And that brings me to the next thing that you need, a nice picture of you and your mom. This is from me and my mom in 1992, and I know she loves it, so I figured I'd use that. The next thing that you need is a piece of contact paper, rectangular or square. I included those in your bags with your Mother's Day projects, but if it's a little bit too big, feel free to cut it down for whatever size you need. Next thing that we need is some flowers. I picked these from my yard because we can't really go to the store. But if you have, whatever you have is great. Make sure that a grown-up helps you because you don't want to try to pick any flowers that have thorns on them or ones that you're not supposed to pick, okay? So don't do that by yourselves, kids. All right, let's get started. So the first thing that you're gonna do is peel off the contact paper heart that we put on the front. Remember, we painted around it or on top of it. So we're gonna peel that right off. The one that you guys have is a little bit smaller. This kind of took up most of the jar. All right, next thing you're gonna do is take your piece of contact paper and peel the paper off. All right, so lay it down. Make sure that it's sticky side up. And then you're going to center your picture facing up on the paper. So make sure that the sticky side is up and you can see your picture. Just like that. Okay. Now, this is a little bit tricky. You're gonna have to roll it up a little bit, fold it on the inside of the jar, and it does get tricky because it sticks all on the side. So just do your best, but that's the thing about contact paper. It's very forgiving. You can always just move it. So you can arrange your picture however you want. You can center it, you can kitty corner it. I did it like that because I think it looks kind of cool, but you can do it however you want. Make sure that you push down all of the edges and that the contact paper is completely stuck on the inside. Just in case a little bit of water splashes out of the cup, we don't want to mess up any pictures. All right, say that's pretty good. All right, now's the next step. You're gonna take your cup of water and you are going to put it inside your jar. Oops. There we go. And then you're gonna take your flowers and arrange them inside the cup. And there you go, that's your finished product. Another thing that you can always do is if you have some Mod Podge or spray sealer or whatever, before you do the picture part and peeling off the contact paper and the flowers, you can spray it and then of course make sure that it dries for 24 hours before you try to do this step. I didn't have any, but I think it looks good still, and I know my mom's gonna like it. Again, good job, you guys. Thanks for watching the video and following along and making something special for your mom. And to all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day.